Uh, we are going to discuss mock exam paper conducted by CA Lanka. I am going to discuss the strategic management and leadership SMAL mock exam papers with you. I am sure most of you have attempted the paper. So, my duty is to discuss free scene, then the paper plus answer with you. First of all, I would like to discuss the pre-scene. Therefore, please take the pre-scene material with you. Right. The company name is Diamond Private Limited. So, we look at about how examiner has arranged the topic. So, first of all, he is going to talk about the company that can be found under business background area. Then we can identify leadership and management. He is going to talk about the leadership of this company. Then he is talking about the COVID-19 pandemic situation also. Then current challenges and strategic initiatives. Then you can see financial statement has been given. These are the areas which are given in the case. Now, we all know this is a common free scene strategic level mock paper. This is a common free scene given. So, when a free scene is given not only for SML subject and as relevant to other subject, there may be some informations that may not be important from SML subject point of view. For an example, financial information will have a little value for SML subject. Financial information may have more value with financial management subject. Leadership style will be more applicable with SML subject, but it will have a low importance for the financial management subject. That is one of the things you have to understand when you are analyzing the common free scene given. In other words, some of the information is relevant to SML, some of them may be relevant to FM, some of them may be relevant to your accounting paper. Then there may be some other information, for example, governance, information like governance, which is relevant to the auditing subject. So, if you are doing SML only, in that scenario, you have to specifically identify what are the relevant information for the SML paper. If you do 12 papers, including SML, then you have to identify what are the information relevant with SML, what are the information relevant with other subject. For an example, auditing. If you are doing all the papers, I am sure it has a very low possibility. If you are doing all the papers, in that scenario, case information should be divided into 4 subjects. That is one of the challenge you are facing here. This paper has been developed by all examiners sit together. So, here I am going to discuss information relevant with the SML subject. I may not give more emphasis on financial informations which are relevant more with other discipline like financial management. So, their relevant is 0 or very minimum for my subject. Before going through the common free scene scenario, I would like to discuss some key information with you which are important for the exam. So, many people think, many students think strategic level SML paper is very difficult. Compare with the previous subject we had, that was business value creation subject, but that is not true. Even though case study questions are tested, you are aware on that, there are 3 questions are tested in the paper. One 50-mark questions, that is based on the free scene, and another 2 questions which each carry 25 marks. Even though this paper consists of case study questions, this is not difficult. In most instances, theory plus application is tested. Therefore, it is vital to have a good understanding about the theory area. So, theory is not sufficient, you should have a good application knowledge also. At the strategic level, examiner is more focused on your application knowledge, not about your theory. Therefore, it is very important to have a good understanding about the theory plus the applications. So, 2 layers are there. If you are not good in theory, you will not be able to address the applications well. Therefore, from your point of view, the first thing you have to do is to become an expert in the theory knowledge. After you have obtained a good theory knowledge, then the next thing is to become an expert in the application side. To become an expert in the application side, you need to do lot of questions. Then only you will become an expert in the applications. So, openly students do a mistakes, they fall into a pitfall. The mistake is they do not write questions or they do not practice what they have learned. Throughout the period, what they do is they study theory only, and for the first time, in many instances for the first time, they go with all these theories they have crammed and try to apply that theoretical knowledge into the given question scenario. But without having the habit of answering the question in the proper way, you will not be able to develop a good answer. Therefore, it is important for you to practice more questions. Do at least 10 papers and go for the exam. So, already I think from CA point of view, I think already they have uploaded few papers. This mock exam paper is there, then there is a pilot paper. So, already there are 2 papers for you to become expert, become an expert with the support of CA Sri Lanka material. Not only this, there are a lot of 25 mark question in the previous syllabus. The 25 mark 2 question can be addressed through the BBC subject we had in the previous syllabus. There were 2 questions in each paper. So, 2 questions into 10 papers, there are 20 questions in there. So, do all these 20 questions. So, in addition to that, you can find some material from other provisional exam. Even your tuition provider, the tuition lecturer may provide some additional material for you. Do all those things and become familiar with the applications. The application is the key at the strategic level. So, we are always prefer to help you as a member of CA Sri Lanka. That is our duty, right. So, now CA Sri Lanka has done a lot of things for you. Even the whole syllabus is available in video form. So, there is no requirement for you to participate tuitions. That requirement has been eliminated by CA Sri Lanka. Now, with pilot paper, then with this mock exam paper, right, your requirement to participate tuition is not mandatory. So, with this actually you can write the exam. So, we encourage you to do better studies, become an expert in the theory area. After that only please try to attempt these questions and become familiar. Right. So, with that I am moving to my questions. So, I have already identified what are the key elements given in the case study questions. It is always familiar scenario to see the background information about the company at the beginning of a case study questions. Without giving the background information, it's not easy to someone to understand the balance part of the questions. Therefore, question always start with the background informations. So, first of all, we will try to identify the relevant background information of the question given. So, already we have identified the company name, that is Diamond Private Limited. So, we will read the background information given. Diamond Private Limited DPL is a family owned daily product manufacturing company incorporated in Sri Lanka. Its head office is located in Colombo, whereas its factory complex is located in Badulla. So, if you look at about the questions, examiner is going to give some company information that is relevant with the dairy products. So, dairy products manufacturing company. So, this company head office is located in Colombo and the factory is located in Badulla. Having set up in 2000, DPL specializes in milk processing and manufacturing of dairy products. The company is initiated by Mr. Wilson Vijayanayaka, a well-known business personality in the country. So, the company was started in 2000. The company founder name is Mr. Wilson Vijayanayaka, and he is a very known personality in Sri Lanka. So, oftenly, so what I have seen is the first para is allocated to talk about the company, then the second para is so oftenly allocated to talk about the founder who has started the company. In this question is also the same. So, look at the second para. When the company started 20 years ago, Mr. Wilson began processing the fresh milk on his family farm to make a small range of dairy products, including canned milk and yogurt. The company was started 20 years ago. So, Mr. Wilson began processing the fresh milk on his family farm to make a small range of dairy products, including canned milk and yogurt. So, he started this one as a small business. What was the activities he performed at the beginning? He processed the fresh milk, and through that he made canned milk and yogurt. It's very common. If you look at about small businessmen in dairy products, this yogurt one is very common. No, people start with a yogurt manufacturing business. The business was relatively small until 10 years ago, when the company began to expand by acquiring more dairy cattle husbandry and building new production facilities. Initially it was small, but 10 years back they have expanded. So, what they have done is they have acquired more cattle and build more new production facilities. වැඩිපුර හරක් ටිකක් අරගෙනනේ ඊට පස්සේ මේ නිෂ්පාදන පහසුකම් වැඩි කිරීමක් සිදු කරලා තියෙනවා. Today DPL produce DPL produce all kind of dairy product like processed milk, milk powder, yogurt, butter and ice cream. And now there are some addition, butter and ice cream also, etc. The company sells product under the Diamond Gold brand name, and all the products are distributed among island-wide retail network and leading modern trade supermarket chain in addition to its own 2 outlet operating Colombo and Badulla. So, they normally sell the product via iron white retail network. They use modern supermarket chain in addition to their own 2 sales outlet operating Colombo and Badulla. The leadership and management. Now, more information is given about the leader. DPL was initially started as a sole proprietary business in the year 2000 and operated until 2010 as a small business. However, in 2010, Mr. Wilson restructured the business and incorporated as a private limited company with appointing his family members into the BOD. In 2010, he converted the sole trader business into a company by including his family members as a board of directors. At the initial stage, Mr. Wilson served as a visionary leader and achieved considerable growth of the business. You know who is a visionary leader? Someone who predicts the future, then prepare the organization to achieve the future situation they require. He was taking all the decision based on his experience and did not follow any management model, as he was only educated up to GCE A level. This guy is not having much qualifications, just A level pass. At the end of the year 2015, Mr. Nimal Vijayanayaka, son of Mr. Wilson, was appointed as a CEO of the company. His son joined with the company in 2015. His name is Nimal Vijayanayaka. He is graduate from a local university and specialized in financial management. He made many initiatives to expand the DPL as a professional business and expanded the product range in the daily market by adopting new technology. He took a lot of initiative to expand the business. Accordingly, a new factory complex was established in Badulla as a strategic location to obtain fresh milk from the daily products, daily farmers, and he found that it is a big challenge to expand the market due to few multinational companies operating in the domestic market with aggressive marketing campaign. I established a new factory complex in Badulla, but he found it's very difficult to compete with the multinational operating in the domestic market because of their aggressive marketing campaign. In the year 2016, a controversy arose over imported milk powder. You remember the story, I think. It was affected to many imported milk powders like Lanka. Bididdo was reported to contain ingredients harmful to human life. As a result, customers became bemused and confused about imported milk powder brand. People started to buy some local brand, no? You know the story. You remember there was a huge demand for Highland, still the demand is continuing. Then Palavat, those brands are very popular because of this incident happened. The situation was compounded by the Industrial Technology Institute categorical statement that Dikyandi made DCD was found in random sample of 4 imported brands, while the 2 local brands tested negative. That was beneficial to the local brand. So, 2 local brand was negative. As a result of that, major multinational daily manufacturer faced the most dangerous market collapse during their history due to customers developing extremely negative attitude toward imported daily brand. Mr. Vijay Nayak capitalized on this opportunity and captured a huge market share in the domestic daily market by producing all the product portfolios in the respective market by maintaining the high quality standard than the competitive multinational companies. Now, this was an opportunity for these organizations. They capture a big market share in the domestic daily market by producing all the product portfolio in the respective market by maintaining the high quality standard than the competitive multinational companies. Finally, DPL has become one of the 5 leading brand in the daily product market in Sri Lanka. Now they are one of the leading brand in Sri Lanka. Currently, DPL has to spend a significant amount of money on advertising and promotional campaign in order to sustain the market share against the aggressive marketing campaign launched by the competitive dairy companies. Now, DPL has also to spend a lot of money on advertising and promotional campaign in order to sustain the market share against the aggressive marketing campaign launched by the competitive dairy companies. At the beginning of the year 2020, Mr. Nimal Vijay Nayak decided to withdraw from the business by appointing his daughter, Ms. Nadi Vijay Nayak, as the new CEO of the company. Mr. Nadi was graduate from Australian University in Business Management and currently holds an MBA in the same university for digital marketing. And this, look at this information. Now, this founder is withdrawing from the business, is leaving the business. Now, his son joined the company in 2015. Now, he is leaving and he introduced his daughter into the company. The daughter is having a degree in business management and she is having an MBA from the Australian University for the digital marketing. See, digital marketing. So, examiner later may be prefer to talk about some digital marketing concepts. For an example, e-business may be targeted by the examiner because this Nadi is having the digital marketing qualifications. Probably she may try to expand the business into this e-business area also later, especially with this COVID-19 situation. Many are trying to expand the business activities into the online platforms. She served as a board member of DPL for 2 years and obtained reasonable experience in the person business. She has the vision to expand the business up to the international level by competing with person multinational companies with upgrading current production facilities in the manufacturing plant. Currently, DPL has faced some difficulties in supplying raw material, manufacturing and distribution of the product due to COVID-19 pandemic situation since March 2020. She want to expand the business and she want to increase the standard of this business to meet the international level. At the moment, they are facing some problems. They have faced some difficulties in obtaining raw material, as raw material is not widely available. That has affected to the manufacturing and distribution of the product also due to these COVID-19 pandemic situations. Now, examiner is going to talk about the COVID-19 pandemic situation also. During a recent board meeting, the chief finance officer lengthily explained the current global economic downturn faced by the world leading economics due to COVID-19. That's true, no? I think yesterday I saw a news article. This Fitch rating has downgraded Sri Lanka into CCC standard. That is a very risky situation for Sri Lanka. So, many economies are struggling. During a recent board meeting, the chief financial officer lengthy explained the current global economic downturn faced by the world leading economies due to COVID-19, and he highlighted that the world is currently experiencing lockdown and restriction on travel across countries and cities. Hence, there is a direct impact on business enterprises across the world, including the daily industry. So, this affected everyone, no? In the case of Sri Lanka, the year 2020 is for many companies one of the most challenging in a very long time. For Sri Lanka, year 2020 is for many companies one of the most challenging in a very long time. In mid-March, with the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, the government reacted with restriction of economic activities, which have no precedent in recent history, from disruption in conducting day-to-day business to a complete lockdown of certain industries and activities. This is a well-known scenario. Every business is struggling. So, government has introduced some restriction, even lockdown in certain areas. Whole country was locked down for few days. Right, in the not only few days, actually recent past we experienced that recent day few days lockdown. But if you remember, in March, April, there was a lengthy lockdown situation in Sri Lanka, not only Sri Lanka, in other countries also. Right, then current challenges and strategic initiatives. So, current challenges and strategic initiatives. Recently, concern over the level of plastic used in packaging has encouraged food producers to investigate the use of plastic-free and eco-responsible packaging for their products. Now, look at this one. Recently, concern over the level of plastic used in packaging has encouraged food producers to investigate the use of plastic-free and eco-responsible packaging for their product. Now, it is a very known situation. Even budget, I think from the budget, I think polythene was prohibited from the 1st of January 2021. Now, people are more focused on eco-friendly products, plastic-free and eco-friendly packaging for their products. Recently, the Sri Lankan government approved a proposal also to ban a range of single-use plastic products in Sri Lankan market with effect from January 2021. It is given already. In August 2019, the board of DPL approved a budget of 50 million to be spent on research and development into new eco-responsible packaging for its products. So, they have started research and development activities to introduce eco-responsible packaging for its products. So, this is relevant with the sustainability, no? And so, this may be one of the key area organization want to focus. So, remember this para was allocated to talk about the environment sustainability of the business. This may be one of the critical success factor for the business, and based on this we can identify some KPI, organization can set some KPI on these environment aspects. One of the companies, several factories used to process milk and produce ice cream was damaged in August 2019 when a severe storm occurred. Some of the factories were affected due to storm. High wind destroyed part of the factory roof, and adverse weather condition damaged the machinery and processing equipment, which caused injury to several employees also who were on the site at the time storm occurred. Some employee also faced some injuries. The factory has not operated since the storm, and the CFO has performed an impairment review on the building and plant and equipment. Further, as a company operating in the food and beverage industry, the company is compelled to follow an increasing level of highest quality, hygiene and safety standards throughout the production process, which came into effect with the recent period of time. Yes, they have to be very careful. They have to maintain high quality, hygiene and safety standard. Even though the DPL faced many challenges with the prevailing situation, independent market analysis emphasizes that the Demand for daily product will be further expanded and local companies have more advantages over the foreign competitors. Now, we are facing some challenges, but independent market analysis emphasize that there will be a expanded demand for the daily product in the future. Especially there will be a more favorable situation for the local company. Accordingly, in the last board meeting, BOD has decided to increase the production capacity and search for new opportunities to expand the company with the current business scope. They decided to increase the production capacity and they are looking for more opportunities. Recently, DPL is in the process of evaluating the purchase a herd of 300 new cows and install new machines for purchasing to cater to the increasing demand for the company's daily product. දැන් හරක් 300ක් නිෂ මිලදී ගන්න තීරණය කරලා තියෙනවා ඒගොල්ලෝ. Further, the CEO emphasized that the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic and 5 years economic policies of the present government, including the policy document, vistas of prosperity and splendor, should be considered as an opportunity to enjoy new tax concession introduced for the agriculture sector in Sri Lanka instead of a threat for expand the present business of DPL. Now, this is an opportunity. The recently appointed government has introduced a policy document for the next 5-year period. So, where they have introduced some tax concessions, that will be an opportunity for this particular business. Despite the challenging economic and social environment, DPL continues to invest in expansion and in enhancing quality while supporting the country's goal of being self-sufficient in the production of fresh milk. They are continuously invest money to expand the business. The country, there is a goal of the country's self-sufficient production of fresh milk. Another focus continue to be on the maintaining and increasing the cattle herd to address demand, increasing milk production capacity by acquiring new company. And they are trying to expand their business by acquiring new company, Lanka Dairies Private Limited. Furthermore, DPL continue to invest in expanding its market share across all categories, expanding distribution channel and investing in the automation of sales activities while effectively managing the cost. They expand distribution channel and they invest money in automation of sales activities while effectively managing the cost. And then next para talk about the governance. So, that will be little important from SML subject point of view. This para may be more relevant with the auditing subject. We will look at that also. The corporate governance framework of DPL is paying less concentration on the essential principles of accountability, participation and transparency, which are crucial in creating, enhancing and maintaining a sustainable business over time and in creating value for the stakeholders. So, corporate governance is giving less consideration on some of the important principles like accountability, participation, transparency, which are crucial in creating, enhancing and maintaining sustainable business over time and creating value for the stakeholders. The board does not consider risk management as a vital element in achieving the group objective and maximizing shareholder value. Risk management is not identified as a key strategy in the organization. As such, the board is not working much to monitor and manage risk in an acceptable manner. This may be a weakness. Now, if you are doing a SWOT analysis, they are not giving more focused on the risk management. Right. Then we can see the financial statement also, which are given for two compared to years 2020 and 2019. So, we will look at what has happened to the revenue. Revenue has been increased, cost of sales has been increased. So, 2020 higher gross profit. Other operating income has been reduced Administration expenses has been increased, distribution expenses has been deducted, other operating expenses has been increased, profit from operations has been reduced. Then the profit figure compared with the 2019, profit has been declined. 2019 276,401, but 2020 181,483. This information is little important from SML subject point of view. Right. Then financial positions information has been given. PPE has been increased. Then you can see investment in Green Limited has been increased. It's double, no? It was 214,000 in 2019, 2020 it has been increased to 464,000. Then there is a new investment in Cheddar Limited 570,000. Then current assets, inventories has significantly increased. Equity has been increased, loan value has been increased, trade and other payable value has been increased. The information on DPL investment in other entities as follows. On 1st April 2018, DPL acquired 40% of the equity interest of Green Limited, Green, which is a company engaged in providing technical and IT support for manufacturing businesses, for a cash consideration of 210 million. So, DPL acquire 40% of equity interest of Green Limited by paying 210 million. At this stage, the fair value of the net asset of the Green was 560 million. DPL treated Green as an associate and equity account for Green up to 31st March 2019. It is an associate. Then on 1st April 2019, as a strategic decision, on expanding its market share in the dairy industry, DPL acquires 7% equity interest of the Cheddar Limited, which is a company specializing in cheese and butter product, paying cash of rupees 570 million. On 1st April 2019, the retained earnings and other component of equity of Cheddar were 390 million and 32 million respectively. So, this is very little information. From strategic management point of view, there was some information relevant to leaderships. This guy is a visionary leader. Then later what happened, initially this was a sole trader business and convert this one into a company in 2010. Then so family members enter into the board. Then 2015 his son joined the company as CEO. Then 2020 his daughter also enter into the business, and the original owner left the business, original founder left the business. Daughter is having a digital marketing MBA also, so that may be information exam may be targeting in the exam paper. Then so they are expanding continuously. There are a lot of opportunities in dairy industry. As a local company, opportunities increase. The people demand for local dairy milk product has been increased. At the same time, government is also encouraging this. Even from the 2020-21 budget presented by the government, they have given some concession on to this industry. There is an opportunity to expand the business activities. So, this threat, this COVID-19 has created threat for the business activities. It has limited business activities. It's a threat for the business point of view. Then profit has been declined. That may be a weakness compared with the 2019. Then they are looking about this eco-friendly product also. There is a demand for that one. Even government has banned to use these plastics from 1st of January 2021. They expanded their business activities in 2019 by acquiring some other companies. Sorry, 2000 before that they acquired some company and expand the businesses. Then their company factory was damaged due to wind. Still it has not been restored into their original position. Right, these are the summary information of the pre-scene. Now, so what are the model you can apply from the pre-scene for the pre-scene, right? What are the information you can graph or capture actually? Capture, and what are the model you can apply? Definitely there is a possibility to develop a SWOT analysis. There are some information available. Some information is available to develop pest analysis also. Some of the opportunities were given, the threat even was given, right. Those are some of the analysis you can do. Halfway you can do some of the analysis, for example, leaderships. Only a little information is available. This guy is a visionary leader. Then there may be some other things you can identify, some core competencies of this industry, right. Some of the analysis can be done based on the pre-scene informations. Then we will go to the actual examination scenario, mock exam, model paper given for the SML subject, right. So, first of all we look at about what are the questions he has raised. There are 3 questions. Question 1, it carry 25 mark. Question 2, it also carry 25 marks. Question 3, based on the pre-scene, you are aware 50 marks should be allocated for that. Since we are more familiar with the pre-scene information, I am going to start the paper with the unseen part given for the same scenario. I think that will be more beneficial approach for you also, since you are familiar with the facts. So, 50 mark is allocated for this. So, we will read the information given. Question 3, based on common pre-scene, recently DPL had undertaken a market research to identify the new business opportunities in other diversified sectors. They have started to conduct a research. The key finding from the research was the possibility to enter to several businesses relating to dairy products. As per the research, dairy product market has attractive opportunities in different market segments, and some of the segment had been hardly catered by the existing competitors. There are some market segments which have not served by anyone. However, some of the senior managers of the company believe that related diversification less risk in growth strategy, and it will help to make synergy new business by using existing value chain. Yes, related diversification will be less risky. You know about the diversification, you have learned about the diversifications. There are 2 main type of diversifications: related diversification and unrelated diversifications. Under the related diversification, we are going to expand the business within the same industry or related industry. Within the related diversification also, there may be few options available. For example, vertical expansion and horizontal expansions, two options on the related diversifications, vertical expansion and horizontal expansion. Vertical mean you become either supplier or distributor. So, within alone your supply chain, you go forward or backward. If you go backward, it is called backward integration. If you go forward, it is called forward integrations. Then there is another one, another options, that is horizontal integrations. In there you started to do comparative or complementary business. Then the other one is unrelated diversifications. Under the unrelated diversifications, we are going out of the current industry, we are moving to a new industry which does not have any relationship to the existing industry. That one is risky. Unrelated diversification is always risky because of the lack of experience. Right. So, some of the senior managers of the company believe that related diversification is less risky in growth strategy and it will help to make synergy to new businesses by using existing value chain. Accordingly, the BOD of DPL has decided to diversify the business into malted milk product range under a new brand name. They have decided to diversify business into malted milk product range under a new brand name. The CEO believes that the new product range should be operated as an independent business unit without using the corporate brand name of DPL. So, what about this option? Are they unrelated diversifications? No. Are they related diversification? Yes. It is vertical expansion or horizontal expansion. This is not vertical expansion. Here you are not becoming either supply or distribution. This is an expansion, this is an example for horizontal expansion. You started to do a similar activity. Some of the brands available in Sri Lankan malted powder market have been positioned in the market with their unique differentiation. And now examiner is going to talk about how the existing brand have been positioned in the market. You know, under the positioning you have two options. One is to position as a cost related product, or in other words normally as a low cost product in the marketplace. Other one as a differentiated products. Differentiated mean you are trying to offer something unique to the marketplace. The position in two options, cost side you can position or other side is uniqueness. So, he is talking about this. Some of the brands available in Sri Lankan malted powder market have been positioned in the market with their unique differentiation, namely Nestor Malt, Viva, Milo and Horlicks being prominent malted powder brand in the local market, where Nestor Malt lead in market share. Already you know these facts. Viva and Horlicks come from the same player, no? Then Milo and Nestor Malt come from the same player, right? So, different brands, right, but two come from one particular company. So, already we know Nestor Malt is the market leader for so many years. So, how they have positioned the product? Unique differentiation applied. They have applied unique differentiations. Even though some of the brands out of those have had some issues, in market share growth, all have been well positioned in terms of benefit and brand differentiations. They are facing some problem, but they are well positioned in benefit and brand differentiations. Two leading brands have been positioned in the domain of energy and power along with the basic content of a malt powder. Two leading brands have been positioned in the domain of energy and power. So, energy, උදෑසන ප්‍රබෝධයෙන් ආරම්භ කරන්න මොකද්ද නෙස්ටර් මෝල්ට් no right energy and power the Milo also talk about similar things no the two leading brands have been positioned in the domain of energy and power along with basic content of a malt powder where another brand has been successful positioned in sports segment is total covered by the Milo no while one particular brand associated as a nutritional malted drink that is Horlicks, even the Viva also have the same focus no. Based on the prevailing situation of the country, CEO has decided to recruit external consultant to handle the initial activities of the new business. Assuming that you are the new business consultant who is responsible for the overall administration of new business, they have decided to recruit external consultant. Right. Now, you have to assume that you are the external consultant. You are instructed to advise the CEO of DPL about the potential of new business and initial marketing approach to develop the competitive advantage for the new business. You are instructed to advise the CEO of DPL about the potential of new business and initial marketing approach to develop the competitive advantage for the new business. Right. Now you are familiar with the scenario. If you look at about the unseen part given in the exam, he is talking about the business decision taken to diversify the activities. They are going to start a new business. They are going to introduce new products actually, malted product to the Sri Lankan market. They are talking about the existing competitors in this malted product also. Right. Part A. What is the requirement of part A? Evaluate the competitiveness of the malted milk industry in Sri Lanka for developing strategies for new product range of DPL. Evaluate the competitiveness of the malted milk industry in Sri Lanka for developing strategies for new product range of DPL. 6 marks. So, what is the model you have to use to talk about the competitiveness of the malted milk industry? It should be 5 forces, no? Yes. You want to use the 5 forces model here. So, malted milk industry, then next analyze the potential opportunities and threat for new product range based on new trend in the macro environment. Analyze the potential opportunities and threat for new product range based on the new trend in the macro environment. So, what is the model you have to use? PES, no? By using PES, you can identify them, or PESL model. They recommend appropriate business strategies for the new product range to develop the competitive advantage in the competitive market. So, appropriate business strategies. So, what you can use? You can use easily you can use Fortas generic strategies, or you can use Bowman strategic clock. 18 marks. You have to put more weight. Even you can talk about blue ocean and red ocean strategies also. Then part D, discuss the market mix for the induction stage of PLC for the new product range. It tests your knowledge on product life cycle and how variable can be applicable at the induction stage. Recommend 4 critical success factors that would be important DPL when developing the plan for the first 2 years. You identify 4 critical success factors which are applicable for the DPL. Then F, recommend 1 KPI for each of the above CSF which should be applicable to measure the performance of new business. So, 1 KPI for each CSF you have identified. Right. So, part A, evaluate the competitiveness of the malt making in Sri Lanka for developing strategies for new product range of DPL. Now, examiner has given some information about new product range. So, we will look at about the theory aspect first on this. So, before we apply 5 forces model, so we will have a small discussion on the 5 forces model also. Right. If you remember, within the 5 forces model, we have identified 5 major component or element we determine the industry attractiveness. This 5 forces is a model which can be used to determine the industry attractiveness. By using this model, we can come to a conclusion whether a particular industry is attractive or not. In other words, whether there are more opportunities to earn more profit or not. This is a model for analyzing the strength of competition and prospect for profitability in an industry. So, we all know there are 5 elements. First one is threat of new entrants, second one is bargaining power of suppliers, then third one is bargaining power of customers, fourth one threat of substitutes, fifth one industry competitors. When you take this collective impact of these all 5, we can come to a conclusion whether a particular industry is attractive or not. Right. If you look at about the threat of new entrants, this is high when barriers to entry is low. It depends on the availability of the barriers. Then if you look at about the second variable, bargaining power of suppliers, when the major suppliers have strong influence over the industry supply chain, this is high. So, for an example, if there are only few suppliers in the industry, then the suppliers bargaining power is high. Then bargaining power of customers, when main customers are powerful, it is high. Then threat of substitutes, this is high when there are readily available substitutes. Industry competitors, this refers to the strength of the rivalry and competition between existing companies in the markets. Right. So, we will look at about each one. So, we will look at about threat of new entrants, whether it is high or low. There are few factors. Scale economies, that mean scale of economies, product differentiation, capital requirement, switching costs, access to distribution channel, cost advantage of the existing producers, independent of economics of scale include patent right, experience and know-how, the learning curve, government subsidies and regulations, favored access to raw material. For the given scenario, we will try to apply these situations. We will try to link with the facts given. So, these are some of the relevant information. As for the finding of the market survey, the local market is showing an absolute potential for malted drink, as people believe consumption of malted based drink is healthier alternative for the conventional soft drink or milk powder based products. Right. If you look at this information, what about the existing players? Do they have some economic of scales? Yes. Right. So, if you analyze the threat of new entrants, so we can assume existing players have economic of scales, they have economic of scales. Then they have used product differentiation also. We remember some of them try to differentiate themselves as power and energy drinks, some of them focus on sport, some of them talk about the nutritions. So, production differentiation has been used by them. Then capital requirement, so it will be high definitely. This is available for the existing players. Then switching cost. What about switching cost? switching cost is the one which is the cost of the customer to transfer from existing product to a new products. Here switching cost will be 0, and no switching cost, they do not want to spend additional money on this. Access to distribution channels, so we can assume right, there are some good distribution channel relations with the existing players. For a newcomer, this will not be available easily. There are no, are there any patent right here? No, no patent right, but there may be some experience and know-how advantage for the existing players. Right. What about the threat of new entrants? Is this high or low? From an existing player point of view, threat of new entrants, I can say low. Why I am saying low? Because existing players enjoy economic of scale, and they have applied differentiation strategy, and normally this require high capital requirement. So therefore, I think threat of new entrants is low for this particular industry. This based on your judgment, right? There is no hard and fast rule on this. You have to argue. So these are the point I have argued. Based on that, I come to a conclusion that threat of new entrants is low. Then bargaining power of suppliers. There are some factors that determine the bargaining power of suppliers. We look at about those factors also. First one, whether there are just one or two dominant suppliers to the industry able to charge monopoly or oligopoly prices, whether one or two dominant suppliers, I do not think so. Here if you are using a small farmers, right, if you small milk farmers, so there may be thousands of milk farmers in the country, therefore, right, one or two is not dominating. The threat of new entrants to substitute product to the suppliers industry, no, we can't find any substitutes. Whether suppliers have other customers outside the industry and do not rely on the industry for the majority of their sales, yes, they will have customers outside the industry also. Here the substitute product will be like other milk powders. Here we are talking about the malt powders, no. The importance of the supply product to the customer's business, how much supply product is important to the customer's business. Whether the supply has a differentiated product which buyers need to obtain, I do not think it is differentiated. Whether switching cost for customers would be high, no, it is very low, right. So bargaining power of suppliers, high or low, I come to a conclusion this is low. Why I come to that conclusions, right? Bargaining power of suppliers is low, that is the conclusion I have made. There are thousands of suppliers are available, thousands of suppliers available. At the same time, we also have our own farms, therefore, right. So this has been further reduced. Then here there is no possibility to have differentiation products, no possibility to have differentiate product. Then at the same time, switching cost is low. So, therefore, I am coming into a conclusion that bargaining power of supply is low. Earlier one, threat of new entrants we identify as also low. Here also I believe bargaining power of supply is also low. Right. Then we will look at about the next one. Bargaining power of customers. So, what are the factors that determine how much the customer buys, whether customer is purchasing a higher percentage, then how critical the product is to the customer's own business, the switching costs, whether products are standard items or specialized one, then customer's own profitability, customer's ability to bypass the supplier, skill of the customer purchasing staff or the price awareness of customers, consumers. When product quality is important to the customer is less likely to be price sensitive, and so the industry might be more profitable as a consequence. What about these situations? How much customer buy? If you look at an individual customer, are they going to buy a higher percentage? No, small percentage is purchase. Is this important for their business? No. What about the switching cost? Customers do not have any switching cost. What about the standard item or specialized? There are some products which have specialized. At the same time, there are some options available for the customers. So, some points are favorable here, some points are unfavorable here. For example, there are no individual customers who buy higher percentage. So, every customer is buying a small percentage, therefore, their bargaining power is low in that scenario. But switching cost, customer do not have much switching cost, therefore, their bargaining power is high. At the same time, there are some players offer different products. So, there are few products available for the customers as option, that also maybe increase the customer bargaining power to some extent. I am coming to conclusion on this. I will say bargaining power of customer is medium. I am not going to say high or low, because we found facts for the both scenarios, right. Now, in the first one, threat of new entrants, India we identify it as low. The second one is bargaining power of suppliers, we identify it as low. Then the third one, bargaining power of customers, we identify it as medium. Threat of substitutes, buyer propensity to substitute, buyer's willingness to buy substitutes, buyer switching cost, number of substitute products available in the market, But by favorers to substitutes, I think it's medium. Some people may be more prefer, some people may not be more prefer. By switching cost is 0, number of substitute products available in the market, there are a lot of substitutes available in the market. Therefore, there are some favorable factors, at the same time there are some unfavorable factors on this. So, what is the conclusion we are going to make on that? Again I am going to say medium, I am in more safer side, threat of substitutes. Final one, industry competitors. Some of the information were given on this. What about the industry competitions? Market growth rate, there is opportunity for the market, right? Cost structure, switching, capacity, uncertainty, strategic importance, exit barriers. Switching cost is right. Supplies will compete by a switch easily. Yes, here industry competition is increased. Cost structure, we do not have much information on this. So each one is trying to capture higher market share, but here limited number of players are there. We can't conclude that industry competition is low, but I am coming to a conclusion that industry competition is medium. Again I am in the safer side. Industry competition is medium. One can argue it is still low when you look at the size of the market. So, what is the final conclusion we are going to make? Is this industry attractive or not? From existing player point of view, this industry is attractive. Why I am saying like that? See, there is a very low possibility for a newcomer to enter into this market. We are an existing player, we are going to introduce this new one, right. So, bargaining power of the supply is also low, bargaining power of the customer is medium, threat of substitute is medium, industry competition is medium. Therefore, I am coming to a conclusion that this industry is attractive for existing player, industry is attractive for an existing player, That is the conclusion we made, right. Then so we have answer for the part A. Now we are moving to the part B. Analyze the potential opportunities and threat for new product range based on the new trend in the macro environment. Analyze the potential opportunities and threat for new product range based on the new trend in the macro environment. So, what is the tool we can use for this purpose? We can use pest analysis for this purpose. Pest analysis. You know, on this, So, pest analysis is one of the main tool we use to analyze the macro environment. Examiner is asking you to identify opportunities and threat available in the macro environment. Right. So, we will try to identify some opportunities and threat also based on the facts available. Right. First of all, we look at about the facts or the point covered in the pest analysis. First one is political environment. Under that, we are going to look at about how political environment prevail in the country, whether this political environment is favorable to the business or not. So, India we are going to look at about variable like political stability, then policies of person government, opposition behavior, terrorisms, those are the factors we are going to look at. Then the second variable is economical variable. India we are going to look at about factors like exchange rate, inflation, interest rate, GDP growth rate, per capita income, balance of payment. Next one is social and cultural environment. India we are going to look at about race, religion, lifestyle, taste, age structure. Next one is technological environment, changes in information technology, the media and communications, automations. Fifth one is ecological or environmental. So, India we are going to look at about some of the matters like rising sea level, global warming, environment pollutions. Then next one is legal environment. Some of the laws are considered, for example, tax laws, labour laws such as EFF, ETF, gratuity, shop and office ordinance. Right. So, what are the factors we can consider under the political environment? First of all, we look at the political environment. So, do we have a stabilized government? Yes. Now, we have a 2/3 majority government. Political stability is there. Right. So, what about the business policies of the government? So, what are the affecting policies? I look at about the budget proposal 2021. There are few proposals affecting to this industry. Export, daily, fabric, tourism, agricultural products, processing and information technology. Here the dairy industry is covered. Tax concession under the strategic development project for a maximum of 10 years. Investment exceeding USD 10 million with the potential to change the landscape of the economy. That is the first one, but second one is very clear. First one is commonly given. Look at the second budget proposal, which appear to the industry. Strategic investment tax concession for a period of 5 years. Investment should be over USD 25 billion, focusing on processing milk powder for export. So, we have this opportunity. We can capitalize this opportunity. If you are going to make an investment over 25 million US dollars, focusing on processing milk powder for export, you can get 5-year tax concession. So, this is an opportunity for this particular business. So, opportunities to get tax concession for 5-year period. Then another one you can say about the stabilized government, stable government. So, therefore, you can stable political environment, therefore, you can conduct the business activity without any problem. Stable political environment. Stable political environment. Right. So, what are the other factors we can consider under this political environment? I think we have considered all the factors now. Then economical environment, whatever the exchange rate, so is it stable? To some level it is stable, but rupee is depreciating. Is that advantage from an exporter point of view? Yes. Then Sri Lankan product will be more cheaper in the world market. Then inflation is high, not a favorable factor. Interest rates, what about the interest rate? Now, if you are going for investment, nowadays you can obtain loan at a very low rate. Yesterday I saw that cap was introduced by government for housing loan. We can cap was 7%. The maximum interest rate you can charge is 7% now for the housing loan. We can assume same trend will be continued for the business also. Now, business people can obtain loan at a very concessionary rate. So, that is an opportunity for this business. You can obtain loan, right. So, here threats is high inflation is a threat, it will increase the cost. Then opportunity, depreciation of rupee value, that will make Sri Lankan products as more cheaper one. Then low interest rate, there is an opportunity you can get loan and invest more money in production facilities, low interest rate. GB growth rate is minus, it is assumed that it will be minus in Sri Lanka. Is that a favorable factor? No, it is a threat. People's purchasing capacity is reduced, minus GDP income. Then social and cultural, any factor we can consider here? Yes, there is one issue, this COVID-19 matter, COVID-19 pandemic, this is a threat for all the business, COVID-19 pandemic. Then opportunity, what about technological environment? Yes, opportunity to use new technologies for business expansions. Example, online selling, opportunities to use technology. Example, online selling, use technology. The ecological environment, ecological environment is a threat to opportunity. So, at the moment we have a threat because this plastic is banned. So, we have to cater to this requirement, we have to come up with more environment friendly policies. Legal environment, there are a lot of laws applicable, some sort of a threat. strict laws applicable to the business, strict laws applicable to this business, daily industry. Any other information we can extract from the given case study? High competition exit among the players a threat. High competition in the market is a threat. High competition in the market. For an example, they have stated that there is a competition among the players to promote the products. Therefore, you have to spend a lot of money on advertising. So, we identify it as a threat for business survival. I am not much worried about this. Why I am not much worried about this? If you look at about the marks given on this, how many marks? 6 marks. So, for a 6 mark, I think this is more than the requirement. If you go through carefully, you may be able to find more point, but I am going to stop on this particular point. Look at the next one. Next questions. Recommend appropriate business strategies for the new product range to develop the competitive advantage in the competitive markets. Recommend appropriate business strategies for the new product range to develop the competitive advantage in the competitive market. Now, here look at the mark allocations. How many marks are allocated? 18 marks are allocated for this. This is one of the area you have to do more works. For the first 2 parts, for each one, examiner has allocated only 6 marks, but here 18 marks, 3 times compare with A or B, 3 times mark allocations. Therefore, you have to put more effort in answering this. So, what are the model we can use here? So, we can use any model you prefer. You can use Porter's generic strategies. You can use Bowman strategy clock. Even you can use blue ocean and red ocean strategies. So, I will mainly use this Porter's generic strategies here. You know that Michael Porter has introduced 3 strategies which can be used in any industry. What are the 3 strategies introduced by Michael Porter? Cost leaderships, differentiation, then the focus strategy. What is cost leadership strategy? Under this strategy, we are trying to become the lowest cost producer in the industry as a whole. Then differentiations, in there, we try to offer a unique product to marketplace. Third one, focus strategy, doing business in small portion niche of the market, providing good and service at lower cost to that segment, cost focus. 2 options are there actually. Under the focus strategy, there are 2 options. One is to offer the good at the lowest cost to the selected marketplace. Other one is to use the differentiation focus strategy. In there, we are going to offer a differentiated product to the selected marketplace. Right. If you are going to use this model, what is the most appropriate strategy? you look at about the facts given in the scenario, we can simply identify few things. If you look at about the existing player point of view, you look at about what the existing players tell here. With the existing player scenario, some of the brands available in Sri Lankan malted powder market have been positioned in the market with their unique differentiations. So, product like this malted powder market, I don't think cost strategy will work. Here people more look at about some of the unique product of the unique attribute of the products. So, if you look at the existing players, how they have position, they have position based on the unique characteristic of the products. Some of the brands available in Sri Lankan malted powder market have been positioned in the market with their unique differentiations, namely Nesta Malt, Viva, Milo and Horlicks being prominent malted powder brand in the local market, where Nesta Malt lead in market share, even though some of the brands out of those have had some issue in market share growth, all have been well positioned in terms of benefit and brand differentiations. Two leading brands have been positioned in the domain of energy and power along with the basic content of the malt powder, where another brand has been successful positioned in sports segment, while one particular brand is as a nutrition malted drinks. Look at this. Two focused on energy and power, another one focused on the sports segment, another one focused on the nutrition malted drink, nutritions. So, all the players in the industry have focused on the differentiation element. Therefore, cost leadership is not possible in this segment, and it is more prudent to apply a similar strategy. What you can do is, you can apply the differentiation strategy. You can decide whether you are going to differentiate it as a sport product, whether you are going to differentiate it as a nutrition malted drink, whether you are going to position it as a more tastier malted products, whether you are going to differentiate it as a energy and power product. Like that you can later decide. So, the most appropriate strategy is to look at about the differentiation strategy. You have to apply the differentiation strategy in the selected marketplace. Then there is another point you have to carefully look at this. Here, are we going to cover the total market, or are we going to focus on the selected marketplace? What do you think about that? Is it in selected marketplace or the total market? If you look at about the broad market here, what is the broad market here? The milk powder industry is the broad market. So, here we are trying to cover one portion of that, that is that malted products. Therefore, I feel it is more relevant to apply the differentiation focus strategy. You have an argument on this, you have to provide the facts to prove your answer. So, differentiation focus strategy, so providing a differentiated product or service to that segment. right. So you have to come up with a valid point on this. You have to say the total market is milk powder, daily milk powder market. So we are going to cover malted portion in there, therefore focus strategy is applicable. So we are going to offer a unique product into the marketplace. Example, you can put example, for example, tastier malted milk product. Therefore, the appropriate strategy is differentiation focus strategy. Right? Differentiation focus strategy is the most appropriate one. Then I can move to the next tool also when I am analyzing this question. Strategy clock